Welcome to our series on how government agencies are accelerating innovation with data and analytics. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here today with Ravi Hulasi, Chief Cloud Evangelist at Tamr. Ravi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wyatt. Pleasure to be here today.
Well, let's start with asking the question, what makes a data-led migration to the cloud, where agencies can migrate and analyze data in the cloud? What makes that different from migrating applications and other workloads to the cloud?
Well, I think a data-led migration just really offers agencies a really unique opportunity to take advantage of lots of data that's been moved into the cloud, into a landing zone, on its way to its final destination. And often we'll find that customers are using data which is typically in silos. And so now that data is all present in this landing zone in the cloud, it's a great time to take advantage of this unique moment to actually go through, use that computational power in the cloud to go and master all this data, build out clean data that's then going to be used in its downstream consumption once applications have been migrated to the cloud. A key point is that this process doesn't have to be something that slows down the migration of an application to the cloud. You can run it in parallel, often because you're using different personas. People are looking at this from a data-led perspective, and those personas are different from those who may be concerned with actually migrating the applications itself. So it really can be a win-win to deliver not only modern applications, but high quality data to support them as well.
Can you talk to us about an example where efforts of a public sector customer to migrate and analyze multiple data sets in the cloud has led to new insights and innovations in serving their organization's constituents?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a great example is the Department of Homeland Security's Custom and Border Protections team. And their goal is to disambiguate international flight travelers during the onboarding security screening process. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of different data that they're having to pull. There's travelers' flight reservation information collected at airports and submitted by airlines, and then information they may have on persons of interest from multiple countries. So there's a lot of data variety here, lots of different sources. And this is a common problem that many agencies are having to deal with. And so Tamr was deployed on AWS in order to generate those requisite traveler views from all these different systems, pulling together a key master ID for each individual, which shows the border control agents the full history of a traveler, where they alighted, their disembarkation point and destination. So this information allows them to make informed decisions based on the output of Tamr's machine learning process, and it's being delivered in a near real-time result. So the outcome is that there's a much faster vetting process for individuals as they're being screened for a flight. Now, this data variety challenge applies not only to the Custom and Border Protection group, but also other agencies. So for example, we're talking to many healthcare information exchanges who have a similar challenge when trying to support a whole person care or social determinants of health initiative. And to achieve a successful outcome in this area requires pulling data from lots of different sources, for example, education, behavioral health, juvenile justice, and housing, all in the goal of building out that master person index. And this is another challenge with data variety that Tamr is well suited to solving by reducing that risk that comes with such variety of data.
So how does working with AWS and its partner community speed up the time to value for public sector customers in improving constituent services?
So we're seeing that customers are hitting the limits in their on-prem architecture and what can realistically be achieved with such a configuration. So firstly, taking advantage of the AWS stack really positions them for future data growth as they want to consider more data records as well as more data sources. And we can consider this in two ways, really. Firstly, the raw infrastructure offered by AWS to handle such large volumes of data. We have one client who moved their on-premise data processing workloads to make use of Amazon's EMR technology and achieved more than a 5 times speed up in processing over 200 billion records. So the outcome of this was that now they're getting answers to their data questions in days and not weeks. But in addition to looking at raw infrastructure, I think there's also a benefit of deploying on AWS and the ease at which new applications and services can be instantiated. And this really it acts as an accelerator to achieving mission outcomes. So one example is the growth of graph databases. And a recent client we've worked with has started to augment their master data strategy with a deployment of AWS Neptune to easily understand relationships between entities. And so a key factor to this success was the ease at which they could turn on that functionality from Neptune. And it really reduces the perceived risk of projects, which in the past may not have started or have been scoped far lower because of that perceived risk of actually the difficulty in actually deploying such components.
Well, and then lastly, how have the efforts of migrating and analyzing data to the cloud, again, this idea of data-led migration, how has that changed your customers' cloud strategies or priorities?
Oh, wow, following on from the previous point, I think the success of migrating data to the cloud and taking the time to improve the data along the way acts as an enabler, opening up new consumption opportunities. And I think it really increases the expectations of data consumers. One example being a data catalog. So a simple migration of a data catalog would merely move the data and the catalog into the cloud. And okay, we tick the box and the application's completely migrated. But there's a missed opportunity here where that catalog and the data inside it can be improved as it's being moved to the cloud. Rather than having people just go in and look for the existing data, let's also master the data and add that to the catalog. So now people can use that. And really the benefit of this is that now people using the new data in the cloud have much cleaner, much more useful data to take advantage of. And so they end up being delighted with the new application, but then also the data that's supplied as part of the application as well. And so it has this knock-on effect of really raising a bar for future migration projects.
Well, Ravi Hulasi, thank you so much for sharing some of your insights on the power and potential of data-led migrations to the cloud.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wyatt, for your time today.